Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan live. And the topic of this 10-minute moan is this news story that we're meant to believe and fall for and take all the blame of the current government for the migrant crisis. Because the NATO summit was yesterday and today, and the Sun, one of their correspondents, has had a word quietly with someone from the UK delegation and came up with this amazing story that it is the fault of Russia and Iran that we have such problems with illegal immigration. What a lot of nonsense. The problem we've got with illegal immigration is we're so attractive to the illegal immigrant. And if we stop that, it doesn't really matter what Russia and Iran do. And it's just more total nonsense. And I'm just not swallowing it. But this report from The Sun, just give me a second and I'll get it up here. Share. It's pretty crazy. So I want to go through it. I want to go through both the article itself and the video that accompanies the article. So the story headline is from Russia with shove, suggesting that Russia are pushing people towards Britain. That's actually not the case. They might have some sort of clandestine things they're doing to help immigration in Europe, but it's our fault to come to the UK, not Russia's. So it goes on, Britain's migration crisis has been fuelled by Putin's Russia and other hostile states in secret plot to destabilise the UK. Russia and Iran have long used underhand tactics to unsettle democracies in the West, and I'm sure they have, but this article is telling us that they're responsible for the levels in the UK. I'll come back to this little video by their correspondent in a little minute. So Russia is pushing migrants to the UK to overwhelm border defences and sow division, security sources warn. Vladimir Putin's tactics include providing fake documents, transport and even military escorts to smuggling gangs. And that may be very true. But doesn't he bring them to Cali, right? He'll be pushing them into the Eastern European countries. What happens after that is our responsibility. Not Putin's, not Iran's, ours. And the minute we get a government that actually appreciates that, then and only then can we potentially look at solving the problems that we've got with the numbers of immigration. So the story goes on. More than 18,000 have arrived in dinghies so far this year, and opposition MPs said the crossing should now be declared a national security crisis. Well, it should have been a national security crisis when it started, right? And see this 18,000. After being down to Dover and Cali, I'm calling nonsense on that. The simple reason that is only the ones that we pick up in the dinghies halfway across the channel and drop off at the harbour, the secluded harbour in Dover. That doesn't count anybody arriving that we don't catch, which is normally at night time in dinghies. The ones coming on the other pier through the ferry, which if you saw the report I done from the ferry with what I spotted in the car deck, where it was just 65% vans, small transit, sprinter type things, all with foreign people, right? Don't count that. Don't count who's in the stowaways from the HGV deck, which has always been a problem. We don't count the people who come in normal flights with passports that are valid, saying that they're here on holiday and don't go home. So this 18,000 is nonsense, because that's only 18,000 through one entry, and that's the ones that we pick up from the shore. And the reason I know that is I've seen it from my own eyes. I've been next to the people who count the number of people coming up off of the harbour, border force, and the numbers are the numbers we get normally about 48 hours later from our government as irregular arrivals. But that's only one thing. So it's not 18,000. It's far more than that. Far more than that. Anyway, senior security sources warned The Sun that foreign powers are backing or exploiting smuggling gangs in a bid to destabilise Britain. Fine. Let them. Just don't make it attractive for them to come here once they get all the way to Cali. That 45-mile stretch that I reported on from I've got to name it, Boulogne-sur-Mer, maybe? Boulogne-sur-Mer, up to and past Dunkirk, which is only 20 minutes away from the Brussels border. So once they get there, they will only come there if we're attractive to them, and we need to put things in place to stop that being attractive, and maybe stop putting them up in hotels, picking them up in the middle of the ocean, and not just deporting them to maybe like the Ascension Islands, things like that. That would stop the people coming. So it wouldn't matter what Russia do or what Iran do. And this is just nonsense. This is just a puff piece trying to blame it to them. And I'll let you see the video produced by The Sun in a minute. So where did we get to? This week, NATO recognised illegal migration as key threat to national security by ruling that border protection can count towards every member's defence spending targets for the first time. Now, this is where it gets a bit mental, because Starmer was on media yesterday telling us how we're going to start spending 5% of our income on defence. Well, that doesn't mean that you're putting any money up to give us more soldiers and better tanks and aeroplanes and all that sort of stuff. Because there's stuff now like this that you've always been spending. You can now just lump that in with your defence budget. So you're kidding nobody, right, with these powder puff, buzzword-ridden declarations that you make. It's all nonsense. Anyway, just 299 migrants crossed the Channel in 2018. The highest year arrivals was 2024 with 45,000. But again, that's only through one port of entry. And that's what I figured out when I was down in Dover and Cali. It's like, look at this, concentrate on this, because what's going on over here is probably worse, like the ferries and stuff like that. Ignore that in aeroplanes. You know, people just coming here and saying, yeah, I'm here on holiday, there's my passport, this is my 17 kids, right? And just forget to go home. That will be worse than the 45,000 that we had in 2022 that you counted, because you don't count them all, and no government has. Thousands of asylum seekers are being housed in hotels, increasing tension in small towns and cities. Some have since been charged with national security offences as well as crimes such as RAPE. Imagine that, right? Top security source. And this is what we're doing now. We're just going to go, we've got this problem, but it's their fault. No, your fault, right? It's your borders, it's our country. But no, we'll just blame Russia and Iran. A top security source told The Sun hostile states and malign actors are using illegal migration to test borders, cause disruption and destabilise countries like Britain. We are improving our ability to monitor and anticipate illegal migration flows at both national and international levels, including investing in new state-of-the-art surveillance technology. Our Border Security Command is drawing together security operations around our border. This means working in close cooperation with Europol, Frontex and individual EU member states to combat organised immigration crime. New counter-terrorism style powers will tackle organised immigration crime groups and existing capabilities, carrying out identity and criminal record checks on those applying for visa, clandestine entries and those who arrive by small boat. Well, how can you do identity and criminal record checks when the people don't tell you who they are? Because they don't come with passports. So you don't do these checks. You still, when you come, let's come in. Let's give you a hotel in a nice wee quiet village somewhere in the UK, you know, somewhere that's probably peaceful before you get there, and somewhere that maybe putting 100 to 300 people into one place, who generally are fighting age men, and, you know, towns with a few thousand population. Because that's clever, isn't it? Maybe stop doing that, no, maybe stop coming, and then these fancy things that you're blaming Russia and Iran for them, maybe no bother Britain, right? Anyway, where did we get to? Then the Tories, they have a pop. They tell you, shadow Home Secretary Chris Philp. He tells you that it's a bad thing, right? Well, I've got news for you, Chris Philp. Your mob had 14 years to sort this. And I will give you your credit, or credit's due. The Rwanda would have worked if your people in members of Parliament and the civil service actually embraced that. That would have worked. We wouldn't have sent many people to Rwanda. It would have been a good deterrent. So you want to come all the way from Africa and Asia and Eastern Europe and all the way to France, and then come on a dangerous boat trip to France, and we're going to send you to Rwanda, and you would have stopped them coming, but you didn't. So let's just send them to Ascension Islands, and see anybody that opposed it as, you know, that's a third country. We can't really do that. Well, we own Ascension Islands. It's part of the UK, technically. So let's do that, and let's see how many come to Calais and then into Dover, right? Then you won't have a problem with immigration. And the fact that we've now got Tories, because they think, well, we've known the whip for a year now, so we'll just blame them, right? It's no Tories' fault. Sorry, Labour's fault. It's both your faults. 28 years of you just rotating governments, promising to lower immigration, and none of you have done it. So don't be standing there the day judging somebody that's as bad, if not worse than you, right? You're pretty poor. So that's, I could go on in the story, right? It's just more nonsense about, let's blame everybody else. And just going to now have a wee look at this video from The Sun.
Hello, it's Martina Beck, political correspondent at The Sun, and this is our exclusive from The Hague. And what I have uncovered shows Britain's small boat crisis is part of something much bigger. Senior security sources have told The Sun hostile states like Russia are now using illegal migration as a weapon, not just against Britain, but right across Europe.
Right, I'm just going to butt in for a second there. So, yeah, I agree with that. That bit can be perfectly true, that Russia and Iran are pushing people, from there, wherever they can help and getting them into Europe, and then go, it's your problem. But that doesn't mean they come to the UK. They only come to the UK because we let them and we make it attractive and we make it the best proposition for them in the whole of Europe. That's why, when I was over there last week, I saw 45 miles of migrant camps, people, thousands of them, maybe even tens of thousands of them, wanting to come here. Because it's attractive to them. So stop making it attractive to them. Then it doesn't really matter what Russia and Iran do.
On all sides, from North Africa, where the Kremlin-linked Wagner Group is accused of pushing migrants towards Europe, to Belarus, where border guards are reportedly helping people cross into the EU, with Poland saying it's part of a hybrid warfare plot to destabilize the West.
So again, right, so that this might actually be true. I'm not disputing the fact. So Belarus are like just an annex of Russia, basically, aren't they? They're going, here, off you pop, away in to Europe and just cause some chaos. Yeah, but again, that doesn't mean we need to deal with it.
And most importantly, here at home, we're seeing some of the same tactics. Rogue regimes backing smuggling gangs to flood our borders, overwhelm communities and make a mockery of British security. Now, NATO is now officially counting border protection as national defence.
So here we go. We're now going to count the money that we already spent. This must cost us millions of pounds. Putting these boats. I've seen these boats. I've seen it in front of my own eyes from probably that same vantage point. And we're now going to count that into our defence budget to say yeah, we're spending more on defence. No, you're not. You're just moving wooden dollars. But we're not meant to be that clever that we can figure stuff like that out.
Recognising illegal migration as a serious security threat. And, the numbers tell the story. There have been 18,000 people crossing the channel already this year, which is a record. Some facing charges for national security offences and serious crimes. The government says new tech, tougher laws and international crackdowns are on the way.
Right, so we're hearing this again. So this is a record year so far, right? Record. So it'll beat the 45,000 we had in 2022 or 2023. But that's only, and I keep stressing this, and I didn't figure this out till I went and stood where that video was taken of Dover and then travel to Calais. You think, hold on a minute, these numbers are only the ones coming off that boat, because there was people there counting the numbers coming off that boat, and then when the figures came out for the government 24, 48 hours, guess what? It matched the people that were counted coming off the boats. So that totally ignores any other way of illegal immigration coming to this country, which is a ferry two piers away in the same place, which is loaded with foreigners who I'll guarantee are coming with a valid passport but just not going home. There's the stowaway still a problem, but we've kind of forgot to talk about that. For 5 years, we've just kind of ignored that. And then the ones that are still arriving by illegal dinghies and the ones who are flying here every day with no intention whatsoever of going home, right? That's where the problem is. But we're record-breaking by just counting one of those entry points.
We also understand that the Home Secretary has ordered officials to review border security capabilities to ensure they are robust enough to deal with state threats as well as terrorism-related risks. And after Keir Starmer had a meeting with Donald Tusk, the Polish PM in January, the UK is stepping up cooperation with Poland to tackle the weaponization of migration.
Poland, that's not a bad country to talk to about this problem. Let's just replicate what they do, right? Because whatever they do is kind of working. And they do it, and I think they take a fine every day when they've opted out of some bloody stupid agreements, right? And they say, well, it's cheaper as just paying the fine for breaking the agreement than it is taking all these people in and disrupting their communities and economy. So just copy them. If you're there to see this Donald Tusk guy, the Polish leader, and you're taking tips, just listen to him. See whatever he's doing. We'll have a bit of that. That'll do it. Thanks very much. Job done. That, and ones that are still successful, send them to Ascension Islands. Guarantee you'll decimate your problem if you want to. Because I'm starting to be concerned that if people actually want this thing that's created an industry that's worth billions of pounds per year and creating millionaires and billionaires probably every day. So I'm not convinced you actually do want this industry to die, because it will be quite fruitful for people who potentially sponsor your parties, donate to you as MPs. So I'm not falling for it anymore. Just talking to the Polish guy, great. Just do what he's doing.
But, as we're seeing with migration being weaponized from Belarus to Africa, the pressure is now firmly on Keir Starmer to get a grip fast.
So there we go. That's my opinion on it. I'll now go to your opinions and see if there's anything. Still getting the music coming for the Sun's adverts. So, where did we get to? Your comments. Where are they? I'm flying solo today, so this might take me a wee bit more than normal. Just fire up the ones as I pass them and see if there's any. Thanks for doing that, Lynn. Share it everywhere if you don't mind. Helmsdale in Sutherland, north of Inverness, lovely part of the world, Liverpool. If they believe that then they are committing treason and are facilitating invasion, why are the borders not closed? Why are they still letting undocumented and unchecked? It's treason. Well, the other thing is, they say, oh, we'll maybe need to change some laws. Well, we've already got laws in place for people that come here illegally. And see if you put your foot on land and you've not done that properly, i.e. through a border control point with your documents and claim asylum, or even, God forbid, claim asylum before you come here, right? See if you don't do any of these things, you broke the law. So we've already got a law. Matt Smith, why have a navy? True. There's Kev the ranter. All right, Biggin. Yeah, I'm perfectly by average, my friend. Did Russia make us have idiots as leaders? No, but Iran try to influence. This is something that's brilliant. There's a show that's taking a wee break now called The Majority Show, and Mark and his good lady have been doing that for a few years. And Mark got some information about 4 months ago about how these Iranian people were infiltrating Scottish politics by having social media accounts, smash nonsense out all over like Twitter and stuff. And he'd done a lot of digging into it. I still need to get him on to talk about it, but we'll try to arrange it a few weeks ago. Anyway, when America and Israel started bombing Iran, guess what? These accounts stopped putting out content, right? So, aye, it's a bit mental. So apparently it's the Jews' fault. It's scary to think the real total coming. You're right, Lynn, and that's the thing that I learned from my trip, is the numbers that we get reported are just through the boats that you see coming in the border force. Craig, I loved your work at Dover and Cali. It was eye-opening, thanks. Diana, thoroughly enjoyed doing it. Our government invited them here, that's why they refused to call them illegal. Yeah, what's the word? Irregular arrivals now. What a lot of nonsense. Good morning from Cornwall. It's actually your name there, Zelinu McAllister. Did Ukraine make money in the early war year by transmitting people? Did you see the coachloads of Ukrainian migrants with dark skin unloading an island? No, I didn't. I've not seen that, to be fair, John. Morning, Freedom Freeze, Willie. Thousands come via plane. Yep, totally agree with that. If you watch the guys at the port and the hotels, many of them say they came by plane and claimed asylum at the airport, which is their right. You can do that, but we don't count them. That's the mad thing. The numbers are just the ones that are arriving and picked up the boat. I'm guessing all electric bikes, immigrant shoes, to deliver food of the same ones stolen daily. No comment on that, Your Honour. Good morning, everyone. Morning, Lena. Probably the problem is Brussels and the EU, and I think that's EU and the countries that join them and nowhere else. Get Trump to be to the French coast. These lying bees have blamed any available excuse in the invasion, refuse and stop it. Yeah, I'm with you there, mate. Starmer's too weak to be British Prime, can agree with that. Everything goes in defence budget, including net zero, to ensure power sufficiently. Yeah, it's a scam, isn't it, Jan? And I think we've got about 60,000 troops. That's it. That's our army. 60,000. Hi, Craig. Hope family are well. Yeah, as well as can be, buddy. Jojo, hi, Craig. Gary, our military should be protecting our border. FFS, get these boats stopped. Yeah, kind of agree with that. It's been Iran and Pakistan in the 80s who have flooded the UK and the EU with fighting age men. UK police cannot stop mass uprising of Muslims, hence why they're pandering to them. Few having wee blathers to yourself. Islamic money has bought the European governments. Big claim. Can't disagree with that. Just don't know how to do that. Hi, Craig in Durham. How you doing, mate? Nick Tinconi setting up network in France to stop illegals as the government are made up of Quislings. Yeah, I believe I don't know if they're going to stop them, but I know they're going to go out and identify them and things like that. They were doing a fundraiser to get 50 grand. I don't know how that's getting on. So they can send people out there to make videos up on Cali and identify these people. Hi, Lynn. Same reason IRA got into Scotland, known but no action. Hi, Diana. You're not having blathers to yourself. Apparently EU, UN and Israel are blamed for all this migration. Okay. I don't know about that. It's all about Parker that Tesconi is a massive fraud. He doesn't even own his own run his own party. I think is he not the leader? IRA now stands for Islamic Republican Army. I blame Macron. Where is the war coming from? In the UK. There's about 40 Muslim countries, but they choose ours. It's no accident. It's a planned invasion by our own government, and they're making a fortune. There's a lot of this. I'm trying to work out in my own head how it's Israel's fault. It's culprit displacement of civilians working with the United Nations to bring a world religion straight out the Albert Pike Masonic playbook. I kind of think there's only one religion I can think of that's trying to infiltrate the rest of the world. Christine said this 3 months ago. Good point. Wake up. Is Israel and Iran funding their hotels and armed bases? Very few women and children are such. Yeah, and I saw that when I was out there, all the footage that I had. I think I saw 3, maybe 4 women, and maybe 1 or 2 kids out of thousands of people that I had. When this video finishes, the exit will show you what I seen. It'll be 2 minutes of what I seen when I was in Cali, and that wasn't everything I seen. And it's just a bit mental. And the only reason it's still there, I managed to put it up at the end of the video talking about Dover and Cali, and I don't know how to get it back off. So every time I finish a live, it will show you this 2 minutes. What we got here. Russia is not West's enemy. Putin was first to offer USA military after September 11. Well, there you go. He reached out many times to be part of the West. He warned the EU of Islam's takeover plans. Surprise, surprise comments banned from Stating Facts. Banned by who? Parker, I've no banned you, or you wouldn't believe in this one. Figures are double that of last year and even more. Yeah, they are bionic, Nicola, but that's only the ones that are coming through border control at Dover. Yeah, only people to play in with. I'm with you on that one, Gary. Stuart, MOD delivers crates of certain hotels beginning last year. Managers told under no circumstances to open and question its contents. I know what is in them. Okay. Immigration, invasion, not immigration. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to flick through these to guys and see if there's any. I've got questions in them, and I do wonder the same myself, Gary. Bloody cheat union. Where is it? What boat? I can't see the union flag on it. The amount of words YouTube censors now is out of control. Got crazy. I support blaming Russia and Iran if that excuse can be used to cut immigration. Well, it's not, because they're not going to stop doing that. We just need to make sure they don't come here. Sugar plantation, it's worked in the past. Right, let's just have a wee look here before I stop about plus Izzy, I didn't know that, Parker. That's fair comment if true. Let's see, anybody with any questions? Just pop these up as we keep going. I'm agreeing with that, Diane Watson. It's only making money. They won't stop people coming, I don't think. Too many people are making money off this new industry called immigration. And that's probably why all these governments have said, yeah, we will stop it. And none of them have. Who's Hope Not Hate? They're a charity, apparently, who tell us who's right and who's wrong in the UK, and they go after people like Tommy Robinson and anybody that they see right of centre. That's who they are. And there's another Hope Not Hate up here in Scotland, which is like an independent movement. So there's two. Even Poland are getting illegals now. Belarus allows third world people to come there, and they bring them closer to the border. Well, that's nice of them. Comments removed. A bad word I used was boat. Well, that's amazing, isn't it? Yeah, so that's for London St Kitts bank accounts, Benetton, possibly. There we go. What's happening to all the life jackets and dinghies? Well, actually, I've seen the dinghies, because when they're bringing them into Dover, they get brought, the French escort them out to the middle of the channel. We then have 3 boats. A rig, is it, I think they believe it, a rib, which is like a posh inflatable boat. That goes parallel with these ones that you see in the background. They load into a better rib that's run by a border force. It then takes them to a big sort of lifeboat-sized boat, which could be Border Force or RNLI. The only time RNLI are getting in there now is if the boat's in danger. So if it was capsizing or it was pretty bad weather. And then that boat, the bigger boat, brings them back to dock, and a third boat goes round picking up all the dinghies. Okay, now the dinghies then get taken into Dover Harbour and they get piled up. And then for what the guys in Dover were telling me, about once or twice a week, a big truck comes and takes them away. Where it goes after that, nobody knows. Maybe the next time somebody's down in Dover, you can go and find out where that boat goes. But that I can't say they're going back to France or they're getting destroyed. I don't know, is the honest answer. Let's see, any more questions? I'm about 10 minutes behind you guys in the questions. Could you went to Cali, seen your own eyes what's going on, terrible likes and terribly paying French millions to keep them out when they do not care at all? French supplied of life jackets. Well, I saw people walking from the supermarket to the place I uncovered, the sort of where all these immigrants were hanging about during the day. And about a mile and a half up the road was a supermarket and a big sort of trading estate. And in there was a, what do you call it? Oh, it's terrible. Intersport. Like a sort of Sports Direct size thing. And they were walking back and forward. So I think the French businesses are doing that. I've long thought it was foreign government pushing this, but I was thinking the Wagner Group, they operate in the countries these guys come from. Agree with that, Chris? Right, I'm just going to fire through. Is that the same? I think so. I'm just going to fire through and see if there's any questions before finishing this one. Oh, there's Transit Fran, well done. Many fly into Southern Ireland legally and then cross the border in the UK, destroy passports and claim aid. Yeah, and they can even fly in here if they've got a passport. Just come on a flight, tell everybody you're only coming for a fortnight and don't go home. Any more questions? What's this one? Which country did Starmer do his socialist course in? Russia, so yes, it's Russia's fault. Did it ever get down to Dungavel Removal Centre? No, I don't know what that is, Stuart. Any more details on that, give me a shout. And let's see if there's any more questions before I finish. I'm up to 7 minutes ago here on your comments, so you've been going comment daft, which is good. Thanks very much for that. And I just want to see any questions. Mind if you've put a double Q before. Oh, there's one here. How are the life jackets and dinghies recycled? I'll just cover that. I'm not sure. And I did see guys buying new ones in France. So if they were getting recycled, they wouldn't need to go and buy brand new ones. So kind of not sure. It might be happening and some of them get recycled, but I've not been able to prove that definitely. So can't say that. You think the government works for the deep state and turn work for WF? Possibly. I'm not that intelligent and all that stuff. I'll leave that to others. But yeah, I mean, there's so much stuff goes on all over the world where different countries all over the world, surprisingly, and meant to be independently, come up with the same woo-woo nonsense policies. There's a logic to the idea of the Wagner Group starting to push, then Western countries seeing the money laundering opportunity. My last QQ was a statement, sorry. Don't know. Possible. But again, unless I know for definite, I can't really say that. I think we've already had that one on. Craig, what do you think about the migrants getting jobs under Uber Eats, Deliveroo, Just Eat? Well, they're making fortunes off them. So they kind of don't want to stop them working, because if they suddenly did stop working, then there would be less people out delivering food, and Uber Eats and Deliveroo and Just Eat would need to pay people more, because that's kind of what happens, when any commodity's in shortage, and one commodity is labour. When it's in shortage, the price goes up. If gold's in shortage, price goes up. And then the odd thing's true, when you get too many people, the cost of that commodity goes down. So if Deliveroo, Uber Eats and Just Eat done more stringent checks and made sure that people weren't abusing their system, then they would have less drivers on the road and need to pay more to attract more, or get the ones there to do more hours. So they don't care. It's a tick box exercise. So whatever the government says they must do, they'll do it just to tick a box. They don't actually care what's happening. And that's just because we let them. So they're only working to the rules and abusing the rules, which is kind of what folk do all over the place with everything. So, let's not take the responsibility away from government and establishment and fire it into private businesses. Why is this not classed as emergency? Because they don't want to stop it, Bionic. If they did, stopping this is dead simple. We have plenty legislation just now that would let you just arrest folk and treat them as criminals when they come into the country wrong. That would kind of work as a deterrent. And we've got things in place like Ascension Islands that we wouldn't need any legislation to just set up a centre there. What's it called? Processing centre. So if you come here illegally, it's not a problem. We'll gather you up, we'll take you to Ascension Islands, and we'll process you there. And if you want to seek asylum and your whole process takes 5 years, you stay in Ascension Islands. Guarantee that would stop the boats like that. Wouldn't need to do too many flights or boats to Ascension Islands. Transit Fran went to underpass and it's not got tents, and tents are up by the industrial estate near hotel. Right, Transit. So you're talking about the thing in Paisley that we were discussing yesterday, the Phoenix Centre, which is, I don't know why it's called Linwood, because it's in the Paisley side of the dual carriageway. But anyway, yeah, I got a tip off that on the underpass there going underneath the dual carriageway, there was tents and stuff. So what you're saying, it's not got tents. The tents are up by the industrial estate near hotel. So are they not in the underpass? See, there's a bridge where the larger dual carriageway goes from the Glasgow airport down to Ayrshire, and then you've got the dual carriageway that comes underneath that. I'm not talking about that dual carriageway. I'm talking about the one going from Linwood to Paisley. And there's a couple of tunnels at underpasses that you can go through. That's where it was described to me, Transit. But if you can maybe let me know off air where you saw tents, and I'll go and do some more digging, because that's just bonkers that they're reaching places like Paisley and into Lords Linwood. You come in London Saturday, I've bought you a bottle of Head and Shoulders. Right. Fat Shawnee, you're barred. Right, let's carry on. Look, I've got a new now, so it's shorter and more uniform than ever. So I demand to know who's running the Uncensored Patriots page and sending me cranky notes like that. That's not on. Bad people. Where are we? Let's see. Just don't want to miss I'm now at 11:14, so I'm only 2 minutes behind your messages here, guys. So I'll just what's that? UKIP is a true party. Also, it's incredibly easy to stop this. Very easy. Well, yeah, it is. Sorry, I'm not going to be able to put a lot of your stuff up today because as you, Sean, innit? You should be on a X space. Just because I'm on myself, I'm not having a right. See, that's nonsense as well. Where is it? Oh, missed it. Something about the manual. Oh, it's a kernel. Ah, right. Well, you're bad. Right, I'll be my word with Shawnee and Sandy and all that. Somebody was putting up stuff there. I can't find it. There's too many questions. There's one there. I want to share with you. Sorry. Kind of missed it. Right, so that's enough, I think, today. Thanks. Well, today I might do one later on, another live, but thanks very much to those that have tuned in. Especially there's more each one. There's 150 currently, and there's been ones in and out the X now because I've started sharing it to X as well, other than just the YouTube. So good to see that that's starting to get a wee bit of traction. And as I say, I'm going to do some more stories today, so I don't know whether to put them out as lives or just record them. We'll see how my day goes. And thanks very much for tuning. Take about 5-10 minutes in this video, then get juggled about with YouTube and fired out as a normal video. So unfortunately the likes and all that don't count when it goes non-live. So if you see it again, click a like, click a comment, click the share, and if you've not already done so, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. So but more important than all that, unless you're the type of person that has got the responsibility to stop this problem themselves, right, because our government have the powers to do that, but want to blame other people, then not you. But everyone else, have a great day. Cheery bye now.